All right, this is Quinn David Furness coming to you live from Boston, Massachusetts, a city without a nickname. Actually, I am living, or not living. I'm moving in. I didn't tell you guys, right here on the couch. I am here with Ryan, Ligon, and Kristen English here in their home in Quincy, Massachusetts, has been how I've been instructed to say it. We're coming to you live as we do every week. This is stop number 3 in the Beantown podcast spring break road trip extravaganza spectacular. 2 weeks ago, we were in Harrisburg, PA. Last week, Memphis, Tennessee. This week, Boston, Massachusetts. And then we finish up next week with Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. Maybe we'll get someone cool like Todd Palin. I don't know. I think he lives in Alaska though. So, so these guys are in the room with me. They got their dogs. What is it? Kiki and Baxter or something. No, it's not Raymond. No, it's hang on. No, I can get this because it's the Wi-Fi password. I'm sharing their Wi-Fi password with everybody. No. Hang on. The third beer is really showing off right now. No, it's Dexter and Monkey. Yes? Okay. Yeah. We have confirmation. Dexter and Monkey, they are little troublemakers and a little yippy, but that's okay. Keeps them honest. But, yeah, this is Quinn David Furness is checking in on you. Listener discretion is advised on this podcast. One, we use some foul language here and there, and not just the chicken kind, but the swear word kind as well. And then number 2, the podcast is just objectively terrible. So there's your little foreboding, forewarning for that. We are drinking some beer from Mexico tonight. It is Cinco de Mayo 2018 Corona Premier, which I didn't even know existed until about 3 hours ago. Because I don't know, where I drink, it's always just Corona Extra, and that's what they have. According to Kristen, you can taste the difference. Let's do a quick taste test. Oh, we drank at the same time. We really shared that moment. I don't know. I guess if I had a Corona Extra and a Corona Premier next to me, then I could probably taste the difference, but I don't have a refined palate enough. We have that going, and then we have Modelo. I don't remember which kind. What does it say? Especial. It means espresso in Mexican, actually. So, or Spanish, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, trying to be nicer and less cultural appropriation. So, but yeah, happy birthday to all my Mexican friends out there. Pretty exciting time for you all. Cinco de Mayo. That's what we got going on here. We're gonna do a little profile of Boston before we jump in here. And this one is truly this podcast. Usually I got some notes in front of me, either on my laptop or my iPad or my phone. Usually we got something to sort of guide the conversation. This one we are going completely on the seat of my pants. We were joking before we jumped in here about the classic Bill O'Reilly rant tirade. We'll do it live because that's pretty much how we feel right now. So, and it's 10:30 at night and we're tired, and this is hour 20 for me today. So feeling it, but we're going to get through it, and I won't keep you too long. If you're looking for a podcast to help you sleep, this might just be the one. Here's how I like to describe. There's John Kasich on TV. I saw him last fall at Hopkins. Yeah. He's he just never says anything of actual importance. He just he won't totally come out and bash Trump, but he doesn't want to support him either. So he just tries to toe the line, and sometimes he's got to grow a pair. So I like Kasich, but I don't know. But Lost the train of thought. Now there's a funny picture of Ben Carson and Bernie Sanders up there. What were we even talking about? I was going to do something before I got to the profile. Yeah, I thought there was something else I wanted to say there, but oh well, that's okay. It's going to kill me. Oh no, here's what it was. So people often ask you, why should I listen to your podcast? Well, nobody asked me that because people don't know I have a podcast. But if they did, they would ask me that. And you want to have your niche, your corner of the market. Like, what are you bringing to the table? And the way I like to describe the Beantown podcast is, when you're like at a hotel, it's an away game for you, and you're browsing through the channels, and it's cable, and there's just nothing on you want to watch. And so you get back to ESPN, and it's like the 4th hour Sports Center, and you're like, well, I guess I'll watch this because it's fine and nothing else is better. That's kind of what the Beantown podcast is like, right? You just listen to it because, it's not really good. It's pretty average, but maybe you've already listened to, all the Huey Lewis and the News songs you want and Pod Save America and stuff, and you're just, maybe it's like the end of your week and you're like, man, there's only shit out there, so I might as well take what's on the top of the crap pile, and that's the Beantown podcast. So thank you for listening. Little profile of Boston here. This is just kind of off the cuff what I remember from my U.S. history class. So Boston was founded actually as a spice port in 1456. The year that Christopher Columbus set sail. So a little synchronization there for Cinco de Mayo there. And it was founded by the Dutch, actually, and as a spice port to trade with the East Indians. If you've ever seen Pirates of the Caribbean 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, I think, is that what we're up to now? 5, something like that. We're going to take a time out and we're going to go through it because we got to fill time on this podcast. So we got Curse of the Black Pearl, Dead Man's Chest, At World's End, On Stranger Tides, and the last one that came out, Dead Men Tell No Tales is number 5. Yeah, Johnny Depp brings his dog to Australia. That's a deep pull. It gets into legal shit. I'm sure there's a 6th one. They keep making money. It's like Transformers. Like, I don't know many people out there who are like, oh, we got to go see this new Pirates movie, but it continues to make money. So I don't know. Curse of the Black Pearl was 2003 maybe, so 15 years already, which... Yeah, man. Year after Attack of the Clones. That'll date you. But so we mentioned Boston was founded, big hub for pirates, that sort of thing, kind of close to the Caribbean. And it kind of, nothing really changed until the 20th century when the Red Sox bought Babe Ruth from the Orioles. And that's sort of where the story goes next. Nothing really happened in like 1776 or anything like that. So speaking of the Red Sox, they got their name. So in the 2004 ALCS, Curt Schilling had a bloody sock, now an infamous moment against the Yankees. And his sock turned red from the blood, and that's how they got their name, the Red Sox. So there's some history for you. That is Boston's baseball team. Let's see, they got a basketball team, the Boston Celtics. We mentioned cultural appropriation earlier, so I'm not going into that because it wouldn't be appropriate. Boston also has a hockey team, the Bruins, taken from the UCLA Bruins, who in turn took it from the game RuneScape, which for a lot of people is how do you describe it? Multi-million online modal player. It's kind of like Club Penguin, but for a less mature audience. You ever go on Club Penguin and it's getting hot and heavy? So I never really did much online gaming growing up, but we would have Star Wars Battlefront 2 on our computer, and you could play like the Mos Eisley spaceport level or something, and it would be multiplayer, and you could chat with people, which I was like 12 or something. That was like my first exposure to doing that stuff over the internet. And yeah, stuff got a little hot and heavy occasionally down in the basement at 7187 Farm Home Lane. So yeah, Mom and Dad, if you made it this far, there you go. That was the Boston Bruins, who are down 3-1 in their series versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. So rip in peace, Bruins. Probably not their year, but yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on SNL right now. Bobby Moynihan looks like TJ Miller, and he's just having fun. And then they got the football team too, the New England Patriots, Foxborough, which is like 30 miles from here. Does that sound right? Something like that. I've never been to Foxborough myself, but yeah, I don't have any like fun jokes or anything to say about the Patriots, because when you kick ass as much as they do, it's kind of like you just got to kind of eat it. So those are the 4 sports teams of Boston. That's as far as I got in my head in terms of planning out how I wanted to do this profile when I was in the bathroom 10 minutes ago. So the rest of it is truly improvised, doing it live. One thing to know about Boston is they love their Dunkin'. I think drove past like 10 between the airport and here. It's like a 20-minute drive to get here this morning. Yeah, there's a lot of Dunkin'. There's a Dunkin' on every block. There's commercials all the time. It's an institution, so you got to have your Dunkin' when you're out here. We had some Dunkin' this morning, and it was good stuff. It tastes better in Boston than anywhere else. So you can really taste the beans that you harvest right here from the coffee trees. Coffee plant, I think that's what it is, or coffee trees. Remember that in the new, it's not new anymore, but the updated Willy Wonka movie with Johnny Depp, and they give him like the backstory, and he goes to the planet with the Oompa Loompas, and he's like eating the beans and stuff. That's crazy. Interview with a Dog time. That was Dexter. He was scratching himself, and Interview with the Dog is a segment that we're going to consider exploring in the future, and we'll see how that first one turned out. Yeah. Dogs say the darndest things, right? That could be a show. The dog's like howling on there, like my dog Wrigley. You play some high notes on the piano, and she just goes nuts. So
wasn't Kids Say the Darndest Things? Wasn't that a Bill Cosby show back in the day?
I don't think Kids Say the Darndest Things was a Bill Cosby thing, but let's see.
It wasn't maybe not original.
We're going to Google. Let's see. Oh, you're right. Yeah. I didn't know that. Kids Say the Darndest Things, American comedy series hosted by Bill Cosby, aired on CBS as a special on February 6, 1995, then a full series 3 years later. So, yeah, Bill Cosby. We talked about him last week on the podcast. What a bastard. So, rip.
Well,
yeah.
Maybe not in peace, but rip.
Yeah. R. Yeah. R, matey. Yeah, what was that? Lasers earlier. We were trying to figure out the acronym. Was it light and shit? That's not as funny as I think it is, but we're having laughs anyways. Oh, man. What show is this on TV? Derek Hough, Roger Federer, Kerry Russell. Oh, Don Cheadle. This is an all-star. This is going to get like Oscars. Running Wild with Bear Grylls. There's a couple Emmy nominations just waiting to happen. Oh, man.
It's actually pretty simple to think about it.
Laser. All right, here we go.
Amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. It rhymes.
Light amplification by stimulated emission
of radiation.
Emancipation Proclamation. They got Larry David to introduce Ariana Grande, I assume, because she was the host. Yeah. We're watching it. So we're watching it. This podcast is just going thrilling here. We're watching an old episode of SNL from probably like 3 years ago. The one in which Ariana Grande hosts and performs, and she does the like Pandora Radio, like the original Bruno Mars sketch, but she does it. And that was pretty funny. But they got Larry David to introduce the act, and it looked like it was pretty good. So, yeah, I'm not a good impersonator of Larry David, but I don't know, guys. We're 15 minutes in. Any topics you want to bring to the podcast? I came well prepared this week. Ariana Grande, sexy or not? I'll answer that. Sexy. That was the end of that topic.
I just think she looks like a child. She looks like a child. People should stop idolizing her as a sex symbol. She's got a high ponytail. That's never an adult woman.
I was talking the other day things that turn you on, and one of mine on the list was the ponytail. You don't think about it often, and I don't think about it often, but I think about it. I'm like, Allison Williams in Get Out, like, she's sexy. She's got the ponytail going. She's eating the cereal one at a time, like a squirrel. Like, biggest sex symbol in Hollywood. Not Allison Williams, but Allison Williams' ponytail right there. So, yeah, I'm over-exaggerating a little bit, but, I mean, for as creepy as she was in that movie, she was also pretty good-looking. So, I don't know. We were saying the new Get Out, Ryan shared a status on Facebook, and I don't remember what you said, but it was something funny. Oh, the new Get Out sequel looks good or something, but
Okay.
what was the status?
The Get Out sequel was okay, but the horse race was a nice touch.
Yes, I thought it was very good. It hasn't quite blown up.
No.
Are you on Twitter at all?
No.
Yeah, see, that's
kidding.
that's where you gotta go. It was very funny though. My Get Out sequel that I want to make is a holiday special. It's called White Christmas, which is a joke that I've told to way too many people now to be funny, but I just was really proud of it. So, Ariana Grande was born in '93, so she's 25 this summer. So, she's a little bit older than myself, but. Yeah, she does. I don't know. She's kind of got the sexy baby thing going on, which, hey, I don't know. It's not like I'm watching her music videos and being like, man, this just isn't doing it for me. But at the same time, I see the argument against it. So I don't know. She's very talented, but we'll see how she does. Usually the pop stars like don't last that long. I mean, look at Katy Perry. Like, 5 years ago, she was the thing, and now people are like, what the hell happened to Katy Perry? So it seems to happen to pretty much everybody at some point. That's just your life as a pop star artist, I suppose. So I don't know. Maybe they'll just let her into Coldplay or something, and then she'll live forever. Yeah.
Chris Martin.
Yeah, I would go to that concert. With or without Ariana Grande, but yeah. I've never been to a Coldplay concert, but my brothers have, I think at the United Center. Those tickets are usually pretty pricey, but they put on a good show. They're good, they're a good front man, if you will. So
Exactly. No, exactly.
we were talking earlier today about the old homeschool bands that used to make the festival circuits. There was Say It With Love, which is a band that Ryan was a really good front man for. And there was, what was Ricky's band's name? At the Uproar. Was Joel in that too? No.
Oh, yeah, Joel was.
Yeah.
Joel was.
We're dropping names here for all the people at Hallstrom who are listening to this. Like, oh man, throwback, nostalgia. Like, yeah, I'm bringing that dosage to you. What was the name of the Jacob and Caleb band and their cousins?
I want to say it was some sort of sexual innuendo that they didn't
Nice.
realize was. It was like The Morning After or something like that.
That sounds right. Some sort of like pseudo biblical thing that could also be interpreted. Yeah.
Just like it was like Abraham, but also like Plan B. You know.
Nice. We had that going on. Were there like any other class? I just remember going to the basement of like that place by the Cherry Bowl one time with like Julia or something and like watching you guys play.
Oh, so that would have been the night that we of course opened like we
Yeah.
just did.
Always opening.
Always. And then like the morning after. No. Next was Elios.
Who was
Greek word.
like?
Stephen Knight.
Okay, yeah. He lived in my neighborhood actually. Yeah.
Who else?
Was his younger brother in that too? Maybe.
His younger brother was, but it's like
Lots of family bands.
yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of family bands.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that one.
The morning after.
Yeah.
And after them was At the Uproar.
Oh yeah. It was good stuff. Those are crazy shows, man. Like get some Sprite and something and just go crazy on a school night. Yeah. Yeah, it was a different definition of a rager back then as a 15-year-old homeschool student. But no, we've had lots of good reminiscing today about growing up and homeschooling and the people we interacted with, and we even went on a little gay witch hunt here for a couple minutes to try to identify the Hallstrom gays. So that was fun. But no, we did a podcast this afternoon, and then we got a little something else cooking tomorrow. And yeah, it's just been a weekend full of love, laughing, podcast, and now spotty internet. So, but mine's working great right now. So fingers crossed. They're not salty at all. This is the part of the show where SNL just drops off. Like, it seems like every week they can only come up with, well, sometimes none, but like at max 2 or 3 sketches that are actually good. And I don't understand why that is. Like, even when SNL was really good, the ones at the end are just like, is it really that tough? And I'm not a comedy writer. I aspire to be one, I guess, but like, is it that tough to come up with like that many sketches that are going to be like, oh, this is actually really funny? I don't know. If you can do it like for 1 or 2, why can't you do it for like 7 or 8?
They have to meet the needs of the network.
I know.
Half the stuff I would write, it'd be like, no.
Yeah, that's why you don't write for SNL.
Plus other things.
This is kind of like what Shape of Water going on action right here. Yeah, is that Kate McKinnon?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting a little uncomfortable. She looks like Orlando Bloom's dad in Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and 3. Got like the barnacles and the who's the actor that plays him? We're gonna have to look that up now. Bootstrap Bill, is that the character's name? Bootstrap Bill Turner. Is he?
Am I right? He's the dad Skarsgård.
I can't keep those guys straight. Let's see. Portrayed by Stellan Skarsgård. Yeah. Well, because I like, and I know that this isn't right at all, but just like with the Norwegian or the Scandinavian last names, I get like Skarsgård and Mads Mikkelsen, and like there's an Alexander Skarsgård, right? He did like the Tarzan movie this last year, and I know they're different. They look very different. They're different ages. Like just the names I get mixed up. So, yep, I see it. I'm on his Google Images page, and I know what Mads Mikkelsen looks like. Like he plays Hannibal Lecter, and he was in Rogue One, and then I really don't know Alexander Skarsgård that much. Is he this guy's son? Does that sound right? Yeah.
The dad's an actor, and then there's 3 of them. The other son played Pennywise.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so there's another one to throw into the mix, yeah.
And then there's another one after that, I believe, but he's the least successful of the 3 brothers or something.
Kind of like the bonus Jonas, never really took off. Or the Quinn Furness, yeah.
No, not the Quinn Furness, just one of the Furnesses.
Sure.
Insert whichever
One of them, yeah. Well, this is an interesting one. I don't know where this came from, but it seems like the accepted plural now for multiple Furness people is Furni with 2 I's. And I think it's just cleaner than Furnesses, and a little looks cooler, FURN double I. Like it would never fly to Ellis Island, but like 300 years later, it's kind of cool. So the original Furness name at Ellis Island had 1 S, but it was still Furness. So I tell people, because our name looks like Furness, and that's what most people just go with, because, excuse me, that's what it looks like with Furnesss. And then I tell people, well, the original used to just have one S, and they say, well, wouldn't that just be Ferns? And then I'm like, yeah, you're right. So no matter what you do, it's not going to look like Furness unless it's just Furnace. Hey, is that wild turkey over there?
Yep. You want some?
I mean, yeah, we'll have some after, but yeah, I'm only going to go for another couple of minutes here. We're already at 25 minutes, but I got eyes like a hawk, you know? I got like 21/18 vision.
Like a turkey?
Like a turkey. Turkeys have good eyesight?
I have no idea.
Hell if we know. Yeah. How is the sketch still going on?
Yeah.
I feel like oh, there it is at the end. It was still the weird fish monster one. We've had some rambling podcasts in the past. This one just turned into like a conversation where you're going to be able to hear everything I say just fine. It's going to be like background noise from Ryan and Kristen. What are they saying? And we'll see how it picks up. But I think by the time you get to the 26th minute of the podcast, there's probably like 3 people still listening. So, and I'm usually checked out at that point. So it's okay if you haven't made it this far, because you'll never know that I'm bitching about you. So, I don't know. Rather than me just ramble to try to fit 30 minutes, I'm gonna pretty much close it up there. You guys have any parting thoughts? Any like cool phrases that you want to try out, on live air? Like flu flop badoodop. What did you say?
I have an interesting thought.
Yeah.
I think the iron lung is a fascinating piece of technology. I think the more I think about it, the more I was like,
it kind of is.
Wow, humans are so stupid, but so brilliant.
So the iron lung, like you're in it almost all the way except your head just coming out, right? And
It's like that movie
breathes,
Biodome,
which I never saw. Yeah.
It's like the opposite of like mechanical ventilation through like intubation or like a tracheostomy.
I definitely know what all of this shit means.
Providing pressure to your
Got
body.
Nurse Jackie over here. Also haven't seen that show.
It's terrible. I mean, it is pretty amazing if you think about it.
Yeah, it's a fascinating piece of technology.
Yeah.
I just think in 50 years we're going to look back and be like, oh, that was the medieval times of,
I mean,
I've never been in medieval times.
Me neither.
me neither. We just talked about
Oh, road trip. Because there's like multiple locations, right? But I don't know where any of them are except for whatever Hoffman Estates. So this is why we own the internet. That's what the government said after net neutrality passed. So, or Comcast, I guess. Yeah. Well, thank God this SNL episode is over. We'll have the news and then Donald Glover's on. All I want is like a funny Star Wars sketch and I'll be happy. So I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I think that's I don't know. This is a pretty mellow, not necessarily sad podcast, but this is what happens when you prepare nothing. And I mean nothing. So Kentucky Derby was today, this date in history. And by this date, I mean like 3 hours ago. Justify wins. It was the 6th year in a row that the odds-on favorite to win has won the race. So not to say it's getting boring, but the race itself, and I remember the race last year, like neither one was like, oh, what's going to happen at the end? I was like, this guy gets out in front pretty early, and that's just kind of the way it is. So it's still super exciting, and Preakness and Belmont Stakes are usually not high stakes, obviously, but those are usually pretty intense. And not to say that they're always closer, but I don't know. At least those haven't been won 6 years in a row by the odds-on favorite. So, yeah, between LeBron and Kentucky Derby, I don't know about sports anymore, man. I might just hang it up for good. No more sports for me. So, no more sports sounds like another Dr. Seuss book. We were talking about something like that. There was something else. I don't remember what the title was, but okay, that's good. We're gonna drink some whiskey and watch Saturday Night Live, and I don't know, do something else. Maybe quote Phantom Menace a little bit more. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening. This is Quinn David Furness. We're coming to you live next week from Washington, D.C. for a podcast to close out the Beantown Podcast Spring Break Road Trip Extravaganza Spectacular. Thanks for listening. I will check in on you next week.